Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring the Bloodlines and Black Magic core rulebook. If you haven't seen the other parts of this review, featuring this modern occult adventures role-playing game, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time, we are going to talk about two of the character classes, the Brawler and the Hunter. Let's start with the Brawler. In Bloodlines and Black Magic, the Brawler is the tough character who steps up and acts. This is the skilled martial artist who trains for years and, when the invisible world threatens, can bring the pain. When violence is the only option on the table, the Brawler steps in and ends the conflict, swiftly and deadly. While Brawlers learn to use several ranged weapons and even a few firearms, the Brawler shines in melee combat, gaining special boons to hit their foes, mundane and supernatural alike. Brawlers who begin their training in the mundane world often do so studying one or more martial arts traditions, learning karate, jiu-jitsu, judo, and similar fighting styles along the way. Likewise, some Brawlers learn to fight on the streets, learning vulnerable and deadly lessons they refine into their own unique styles. Brawlers trained in the invisible world learn to work in teams, often working in tandem with an operative as a team leader and hunters providing long-distance support. Let's talk about some of the features of this class that you will obtain as you level up within it. When it comes to hit points, you begin with a lot of hit points. You are really good when fighting up close, but also with some ranged weapons. You are proficient with light body armor and simple weapons. When it comes to skills, you have things such as acrobatics, athletics, intimidate, insight. Now, when you begin to level up as a Brawler, you learn a fighting style, and later on you can add a second fighting style fit. As a Brawler, you are quite the opportunist. When you make an attack of opportunity, you roll your class die at advantage, taking the better of the two rolls. You are also a powerhouse. You learn to hit your foes much harder. When you make a melee attack with your hands, knees, feet, elbows, or similar appendage, you deal damage equal to your class die plus your strength score modifier. While engaged in melee combat with a foe, you may opt to spend a bonus action to make an unarmed melee attack. This attack deals damage normally. You also have Psychic Weapon. Your unarmed strikes count as a magical weapon that deals psychic damage for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks. You may activate this ability as a free action. When you activate this ability, it lasts for 1 minute. You must complete a short rest before you can activate this ability again. You also have Tough as Nails. You gain advantage on the first death saving throw you make each day. There's also Fight Club. You gain a safe location from which to work, a private fighting club, gym, martial arts dojo. When you complete a full rest in this location, you begin play with additional hit points. And whenever the Game Master draws the Bad Angel card for a scene or an encounter, you treat that card as if it were your Arcana as well. You also get other things such as an extra attack, toughness to obtain more hit points. But when you reach 7th level, you unlock one of the Brawler's heroic moves. You have to select from a list of heroic abilities, for example, Brutal Combatant. After years of combat training, you have honed your fighting style. You excel at melee combat in small and confined spaces, making excellent use of the small space to maximize the damage that you deal. You may activate this ability as a bonus action on your turn. When you do, you gain the following abilities for 1 minute. You deal an additional 10 points of damage each time you successfully strike an opponent in melee combat. You gain advantage on strength rolls of any kind. You gain 27 temporary hit points. You may activate this ability up to 3 times each day, but must complete a short rest between each activation. Once you have activated this ability 3 times, you must complete a long rest. And these are just a few of the features of the Brawler. You have a sidebar explaining the Pierce the Veil feature for all characters. A character's ability to activate Pierce the Veil and to see or otherwise perceive the invisible world is an important aspect of the Bloodlines and Black Magic role-playing game. Starting at 1st level, you gain the ability to pierce the veil that separates the mundane world you know from the invisible world, revealing all those who live and work beyond. You can activate Pierce the Veil as a bonus action on your turn, and when you do, You add your class die to that roll. When a character successfully activates Pierce the Veil, they gain the ability to perceive creatures and powerful places in the invisible world, which they understand as a mirrored overlay of the world. Characters also perceive the visible auras of other characters, both magical and mundane. Finally, characters perceive the magical connections between things, including visible attunements a being may display. You also have information on different terrain types concerning class features and abilities. So you have coastal terrain, desert, deciduous forests, grasslands, jungles, savanna, just to name a few. Then we have information on the Hunter. Hunters use a combination of strength, smarts, and a wide assortment of weapons to bring low the terrible monsters that stalk the innocent. Able to sense the supernatural threats that stalk the lands around them, hunters focus the full wrath of nature against those who dare to intrude from the invisible world. Although hunters do not scorn magic or the occult, hunters without formal training in the invisible world tend to distrust both, accepting that too often those who traffic in magic also keep the company of darker monsters. Conversely, hunters trained by larger organizations like the various bloodline lineages will often embrace ideologies that match those of the groups that trained them. Let's talk about some of the features of the hunter class. When it comes to hit points, you are pretty decent in that area. You have skills such as athletics, crafting, drive, focus. When it comes to armor and weapons, you begin play proficient with light body armor and simple weapons. You also begin play proficient with 2 firearms of your choice. There are features such as the Hunter's Eye. You learn to pick out supernatural signs, strange oddities, and similar clues that point to the invisible world and its inhabitants. As a hunter, you gain a bonus to perception skill checks to notice the supernatural, haunts, and similar denizens in the mundane world. You also apply this bonus to your passive perception as well. Likewise, you can sense the supernatural when it is nearby. You automatically sense supernatural entities within a certain distance. Creatures from the invisible world or other strange lands cause a soft buzzing that only you can perceive, which grows louder the closer they get. Then you have Hunter's Lodge. Every good hunter needs a place to plan their hunts. You eventually find a larger network of allies with whom to hunt. Each faction or organization has different goals, and many retreats focus on specific cults or types of foes. Regardless of your foes, your new retreat offers you a lot, including a safe place from where to work and, when needed, allies to help you fight the monsters from the invisible world. Additionally, whenever the Game Master draws the Knock Knock Man card for a scene or encounter, you treat that card as if it were your arcana as well. You have several examples of different hunting lodges, each with their own perks, bonuses, and benefits. Other class features include Cunning Action. Your experience hunting the supernatural pays off, allowing you to quickly respond to their threats and attacks. You can take a bonus action on each of your turns in combat. When you do, you may only use this bonus action to take the dash, disengage, or hide actions. There is also Vital Strike. You score a critical hit whenever you roll a 19 or 20 with your psychic or bonded weapon. And what is this psychic weapon? You have the ability to infuse melee weapons, including thrown weapons, with your psychic essence. You treat attacks with these weapons as magical attacks that deal psychic damage. Summoning this magical energy is easy. You may activate this ability as a free action. When you do, it lasts for 1 minute. You must complete a short rest before you can activate this ability again. When it comes to your heroic capstone ability, you can select from various powers, such as Death Strike. Years of hunting monsters has taught you how to strike without mercy, ending lives without grief or hesitation. When you select this capstone ability, you gain the following benefits. When you study your target for at least 3 rounds, you gain advantage on the next attack you make against that target. If you succeed on your attack, you automatically deal double damage. When you reduce a creature to 0 hit points with an attack, that creature suffers disadvantage on any death saving throws directly resulting from that attack. When you strike a creature with an attack that reduces it to 0 hit points, that creature can only be stabilized by succeeding on a difficulty class 17 or more, intelligence-based medicine check. You do not need to activate this capstone ability. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about 2 other classes. When it comes to the Brawler and the Hunter, I really like how they work together or even separately. That is, the Brawler works as a tank, but you can further customize your Brawler for more specialized tasks. In the case of the heroic capstone abilities, you have things such as taunting combatant, blood bonded warriors. So if you want to play more like a team focused Brawler, you can take these capstone abilities instead of focused combatant that is more focused on individual survivability. When it comes to the Hunter, you feel a lot like a supernatural ranger, making it through those wilderness areas, very dangerous sites in this world or other worlds. When it comes to your capstone abilities, you focus a bit more on dealing damage, but you can specialize or focus even more on a specific type of enemy with the Undead Destroyer. So it's all about the sort of prey that you are hunting as a hunter. So to sum it up, as a Brawler, you are a bit sturdier when compared to the Hunter, ready to slug it out with the most fearsome foes. And in the case of the Hunter, it's all about moving through very dangerous and hostile environments while finishing off your prey without giving it any chance to strike back. Thank you for watching this part of the review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending drive-thru RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.